Hey everyone, this is the part 2 of our value scale. We are going to be doing value spheres with our texture and different values that we have been practicing. Instead of doing the long scale, we'll be doing it in a round form. To start this off, you will need to draw 6 spheres, and you can do this by tracing something or just simply drawing 6. How I like to start off with drawing a sphere or a ball is to hover my hand over the paper and then casually drop my pencil down and lightly sketch down my sphere that way. And then you can take your eraser and erase all the extra long lines, and then you have your simple shape. Now, that's not perfect, but that's okay because I'm not going for the perfect round shape. What I'm going to be going for is good shading and texture. Okay, so I got my 6 spheres on my balls, and now I need to pick a light source. The reason why we need to pick a light source whenever we do anything in the round or things that we want to make it look 3D, having an imaginary light source helps us figure out where we're going to put our shadows and our light areas. For this process, I'm just going to pretend I got a little sun right up here shining down on my 6 spheres right here, okay? So all my light is coming from the top corner, and as the sphere curves around, it gets darker and darker, okay? We're pretending it's in the round, so we will shade in the round. Also, because of this, we will have shadows underneath our spheres, okay? I will get back to the shadow part and kind of show you how to draw that once we draw the shadows on our actual objects. So we know which type of texture and everything we're going to do. We will write the type of texture and value underneath our spheres. It's the same kinds of textures and values that we wrote down for our scales. So we got hatching, cross-hatching, scumbling, stippling, smooth with pencil, and smudge with finger. Okay, now for an example, I'm going to go and shade all of these for you guys and kind of like skip forward so you guys know how it should look like in the end, okay? The first thing I'm going to do is this smooth with pencil to show you how it needs to be done. So the light's going to be shining down, brightest areas right here, top right-hand corner, and as it curves around, it's going to get darker and darker. So I'm going to hold my pencil more to the side and lightly lay down some layers over kind of like in a crescent shape. Remember, for the darker areas, you don't want to just press down hard all at once. You want to layer your darker areas, kind of like stacking Legos. The more you stack, the higher it will get, so the darker it will get. Now, I left this top corner almost white of the paper, and you want to leave it really bright white because for more realistic looks when you are drawing and shading, you want to have some white areas next to some really dark areas. And having the white next to the dark makes it pop more. Okay, so I'm going along and adding more layers. I'm doing my little circles, trying to make sure that my shading is not scratchy. We don't want to make it look like a cat scratched it. And I'm doing my best to keep it as smooth as I can. Trying to keep the outline of my circle or my sphere clean too. I don't want that to be all messy. So now I have a sphere. I got the light shining down on the circle, and as it curves away from the light, it gets darker and darker. Now with this rounded object, it needs a shadow. So the shadow is going to be cast right below our sphere and almost kind of like a oval shape, okay? And when you shade in a shadow, you don't want it any darker than the darkest part of your object. because if it's any darker, it looks fake, and we want to go for realistic here. And also, it's okay to have your shadow outline a little soft, because shadows are soft, they're not cartoons. One thing I'm doing is doing a implied line. I'm leaving almost a little white outline on the bottom part of the circle to separate my shadow from my sphere here, okay? And this really makes your objects pop away from your shadows, and it makes it look like it's sitting on top of the shadow. We may not actually see this implied line in real life. It's just one of those artist tricks. Okay. So this is finished right here with Smooth with Pencil. I got my light, and it slowly moves into the dark black area. Okay. Main things I'm wanting is a smooth transition from dark, medium to light, and then it being smooth where it needs to be smooth. Okay, I'm going to finish the rest of these to show you what they should look like. You can see with my stippling right here, it is taking a little bit longer, but I'm not pressing down harder to get a darker value. I'm just layering more dots to cover the white of the paper so the sphere looks darker in the shadows. And that's what you need to do. Yes, it does take time, and yes, it does take some patience, but once you figure out the patience part, your artwork will get better and better because you're more patient with it and you're not trying to rush things. A lot of times with arts, it's kind of like a waiting game. Go over to hatching. Remember, these are just short little lines. Okay, on this last one, smudge with finger. It's probably your messiest one because you're going to use your finger to smooth out any scratchiness you have. Okay, so be careful of any smudge marks around your circle, your sphere, and you clean that up. Use that eraser. Remember, you can use the eraser just as much as of a drawing tool as you can of cleaning up mistakes. You can lightly touch your paper to lighten it up. The lighter touch won't have any streaks on it. Let me get the stuff off of there. And then make sure your last one is nice and smooth, with no scratchiness, just like your smooth with pencil. Remember, smudge and smooth are basically the same. The smooth will have a smooth finish, and the smudge will have kind of like a hazy, smoky finish. And see, the graphite on my pencil, my fingertips right there. So we have our hatching. It looks hairy. Our cross hatching is just looks like messy X's. Scumbling is a crazy swirls and dips and turns. Stippling is little dots. And we got smooth and smudge. Okay. Those are the 6 spheres that need to be done on the back of the paper or a separate paper. That is up to you. Make sure you have the names underneath them so I know which ones you did.